It is our favorite time of the week again. Time for hashtag Rising Qs when we get to answer your questions. Saagar, what is up first?
Number one, let's look it up. All right, in a Biden administration, do we see a continued escalation of the present divide in American politics, or will be the next 4 years lower the temperature in the room? That's a phrase that Biden often uses. And if yes, is this outcome an undifferentiated good? What do you think, Krystal?
Such a thoughtful
question,
and
Gary.
thought-provoking question. First of all, I don't think it's going to lower the temperature. It's going to be this weird mix of like more boring but equally fraught. You know, I mean, you're going to have Trump still hanging out there, threatening a run, potentially actually running in 2024. I think the cable news networks are, look, you know what they're going to do. Fox News, every single segment is going to be Biden is bad and the country is ending and they're coming for your children or whatever insanity that they make up. And MSNBC and CNN are going to continue down their path of like Trump is Hitler and fascism is descending on the country. That will be the state of affairs. So I don't think that the temperature will be lowered. But you're right to ask the question of whether the temperature being lowered is even really the best thing.
Sure.
Right? It's a mixed bag is what I would say. I mean, on the one hand, I think we both feel that the sort of existential politics that we've had where people literally feel like their lives are on the line in the next election, like that is a bad thing. But also going back to brunch and pretending like everything is fine is a bad thing as well. So I do think it's a mixed bag, and it kind of depends on how everything plays out.
Yeah, it's a great question, Gary. This is one of the essential questions around Biden, and the truth is that we don't know. Now, is it going to be outwardly pushed by the President of the United States anymore? No. So that actually, in some ways, the temperature is going to go down. But the radicalization of a lot of the elite and of the Republican base is not going away.
Yeah.
And so you're actually going to see what I think is kind of bubbling surface level tension, just how it was between 2012 and 2016. And then it's just going to explode on the national stage all over again. So I don't think it is good. And one of the great, most depressing parts of this election to me is how it revealed just how locked into the culture wars that people are. That people are just so unwilling whatsoever to compromise, not even compromise, but just they think they're so under siege and vote so existentially that they are willing to let things like death from a pandemic and lack of economic stimulus and more slide as long as you go along with, whatever like pronoun or whatever, whether you're pissed off about it or whether you're for it. And I don't know how to escape that. I wish I did, and if I did, I could be president. But I don't know if there is a real answer around that question. I do think Biden is going to put, like I said, he will put out fires in some respects and pour gasoline on in many more. And until you solve those deep and structural problems in America, then nothing is going to change. And I have no confidence that he was going to do that. I do not think Trump did any of that, despite talking about doing it. And so who knows? It's really up to us in the future.
Yeah, I think that's right. All right, the next question is, will the alliance between Bernie Sanders and Josh Hawley to include checks in the stimulus package in any way incentivize other members of Congress to work together on populist issues going forward?
Ooh, that's a great question.
I hope so.
Maybe.
I hope so. I can't separate my prediction from my hope. Look, I'm going to say yes because it actually delivered results, right? It actually worked. Not what we need, not what we want, not anything close to what is required for the moment, and that would make up for the failures of this entire year. But one of the pieces did move a little bit just from these two men actually collaborating and doing something. So I hope that there are lessons being learned here about the way that you can throw your weight around, even if you're just 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 people. There are ways to extract concessions and move things forward. And there are, at least I hope, a few people who actually care about trying to move the ball forward, or, which is, look, if it's a cynical motive, that's fine too, or who cynically believe that their path to political prominence is being the face of these type of victories. So great. I hope that this is both for those people who have genuine desire to improve things, this was a potential path for them to follow, but also for those who cynically just, want their face in the news and to be a leader of something. Yes. They also, I hope, will see this as a path to follow. So I'm going to say I'm cautiously optimistic.
I hope so, and I wish I could be optimistic, but I'm not. Well, maybe. I want to see how this plays out for Hawley because here's the thing. He's actually getting a lot of good press from the liberal media. But that is actually bad. If you want to be a leader on the Republican side. One of the things, actually, we recently interviewed this guy, Richard Hanania. He has this new paper around and theory about why Trump actually won. And one of the things he pointed out to me, which is so interesting, is who were the top contenders in 2016? It was Trump and Ted Cruz. There's no policy room between them. The only thing they have in common is they're all hated by the GOP establishment and despised by the media.
Right.
And so, in this case, Josh Hawley is working with socialist boogeyman Bernie Sanders. Anybody who would be running against Hawley cynically could be like, he works and stands with socialist Bernie Sanders. And I know it sounds dumb, but that stuff works. And so my hope is that the balance and the popularity of the checks so far outweighs that potential attack, and nobody would be cynical enough to do this. But what do we know about politics? People are cynical. And so working, like, for example, I saw Ilhan Omar tweet out support for Hawley. I was like, don't do that. Like, I was like, literally, you are the devil to like half of the Republican base. And I was like, and seriously, like, if you want something to happen, just keep your mouth shut on that thing. And I know people hate it, but just the radicalization of the bases in both of these sides. Like, remember the backlash against Feinstein for like hugging Lindsey Graham? It's like, you can't get away with this stuff. You just can't. And this just is going to kill a lot of, not just popular, any sort of working together on things. It has to outweigh and be so dramatically popular for anything to happen. So there's your black pill for the evening. I'm sorry.
All right, Saagar. Similar vein,
Yes.
maybe. Are you planning to create a new UFO info podcast?
I don't know. I mean, if the demand is out there, then, just like the truth is out there, then maybe. No, I am not.
People would actually love
There's
that.
not
You
enough
should think about
content
it.
and for me to actually do it. But I will be I'm actually doing a new episode on UFOs, so if you want to go and check that out, go for it. But really what it is that I love being able to talk about it here. I actually love being able to, you should have seen, I wish you were here. Ryan had his mind blown at one of the reports. He was like, he was speechless.
Because he hasn't been following it.
Yeah, because he's not UFO pilled. And I was like, Ryan, like, here's the evidence of the triangle. We all know about this, longtime viewers of that. And the photo, which is being housed within the DOD, which we're all working towards its release and more. So, look, it's a fun time. John Brennan actually just gave a new interview where he basically hinted at extraterrestrial life.
Crazy.
So it's a great time. I mean, he's a known liar, so you have to discount it for what it is. But it's a great time for new information.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching. We're going to have more Rising for you later.